Sandali lang. Love. Huwag ka munang tawag dito, naririnig mo ako?
Yes, love, but we're live na.
Ayan na si Master. You greet them, open your camera.
Good morning, everyone. We're so raw today. Hi, Master. So you
Hello.
are here with us, the Naturopaths in Manila. It's our commitment, of course, to share knowledge about health and wellness. And this is the last Tuesday of the Love Month. But that does not mean that the love ends here, because today we will talk about the kind of love that you will really feel love, that you want to live this life with so much love. And of course, my name is Pink, and I'm with my co-host, my fantastic, fabulous, and lovely co-host Judith Alma. And of course, with our guest, yes, love, do the honors.
Okay. A pleasant morning to everyone, to all our viewers. Thank you very much for tuning in with us. So before we introduce our guest for this morning, so let me say again, thank you very much, Master Stephen Co, for saying big yes to all of us here in Naturopaths in Manila. And we're so grateful for your presence, talaga, Master. So everyone, let's all welcome our guest. He's actually one of the 8 masters of pranic healing. He is an author, a speaker, a teacher, and a healer. Everyone, the Live Energized Master Stephen Co. Hi, Master.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi,
Hello,
Master.
Judith. Hello, Pete.
Hello,
How are you?
Yes.
Hello.
We're so grateful, Master, and thank you so much. We're very much okay here. How about you there, Master? How's everything with you there?
Oh, good, good. You know, it's semi-quarantine life. We do what we need to do and just keep going.
All right, Master. So
Thank you for having me.
you're always welcome here, Master. And next time, Master, it should be physical. We will have you at our physical guest in our program.
Yeah.
When you come here to
Okay,
Philippines.
all right.
Huh? Okay, Master, we will start off now the question, and Pink will ask you this. So are you ready for your topic of strength in love, Master?
Yeah, I'll try. It's not my specialization, but I'll do my best.
Master, you've been radiating love, and you're the perfect fit for this
Yes.
topic, strength in love. So,
Really? Okay,
Correct.
if you say so.
all right, Pink.
Yes, Master. First of all, I really would like to express my gratitude. I'm so humbled and honored to really have you in our show. And
you, thank
yes, for the first question, this is from one of our viewers right now. Since love is usually viewed as soft or mushy, does love always have to be expressed in that way?
Actually, that's a misconception, because you have to consider, when you say love is very mushy, you have to consider who's giving it and who's receiving it. So if you have a person, inherently you're the kind of person who always express it in a very mushy way, very, very romantic way, very touchy-feely way, then that's your nature. Now, on the other side, if that person that you're sharing this love with also is very open to it, or there's somebody, let's say you have a mother giving it to a child, or you have a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship where that's the kind of connection they have, then great. But it's not always like that, because, for example, my dad, I remember, gosh, 40, 50 years ago, if you can remember that long, my dad brought some food home, and after I finished my share, I was looking at his food, and he just said, "Oh, you're still hungry? Here, He didn't say, "Oh, you want?" He didn't do all that stuff. He just, "You want food? Here, eat it." And love does not always have to be expressed in our perception. That it has to be mushy, it has to be very emotional. Love could be something that is inherent in you that you express through your actions.
Yeah, that's a very wonderful realization that you've given to us, masters. Like you're telling us that it's always depends, but the love is doesn't have to be somebody only perception. It's always a two-way. After all, love is a two-way thing, the give and take. Yeah, so that's how your father expresses love to you. So it always depends on the person how he express his love. So it doesn't have to be mushy or what soft kind of love. Thank you, master,
Yeah,
for that.
just
Thank you,
okay.
Master, for that. But how can we balance, willfulness with being loving? Is there a
You see,
technique?
what people don't realize, one does not have to be separate to the other. A person can be loving and willful at the same time. Because when you say willful, using the will is actually focusing. So you can take love and focus it in a certain way. For example, if you have a mother focusing all that love to the child, that's using the will. So, for example, if a child is sick, the mother is expressing all that love in a very focused manner. Everything else doesn't matter. And you mess with the mom, you're dead. Because, the mom is like very, very focused. You hurt my child. You don't take care of my kid. You're dead meat. So the will is there and the love at the same time. So when people think of willfulness and love, it's not separate. The two can work together because love can express in a willful way. Will can also be expressed in a loving way. So the two can work together. It's just a matter of who's expressing it and who you're expressing it to.
Yeah, wow. Another very insightful information, Master Stephen. So the two can be really act on the same time, simultaneously. It doesn't have to go separately. So that's a very good thing to understand, to realize, and to always remember. I, for myself, a mother, Master Stephen. So
Oh,
for the next question, Master. Yes,
okay.
Master, do you have anything to say again?
Well, if you have, for example, you have someone who is very loving,
Mm-hmm.
it does not have to be love to one person. Because, like, for example, in the Greek tradition, there's several types of love. There's eros, there's philos, there's, I forgot the other one, there's agape. So there are different types of love. So when you say love, when I say depends on who's giving and who's receiving it, it depends on which love you're giving. So, for example, if it's agape, which is universal love, you love people whether you know them or not. So let's say they're hungry or due to COVID times, they're having financial difficulty. So you love them. So you focus all your resources, your time, your money, your energy to serving the poor people. That's love. You don't have to be mushy. You don't have to be, like suddenly very loving. Well, your love is expressed into your actions because you focus all that love in making their life better. So there are different types of love and different expressions of it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I agree, Master. Always a different kinds and different types of love that you can always express. The important is express it through your action, because I always hear this from you, Master. It's all about taking action. You have it with you, but you have to put it into action, everything that the goodness within you. So that's one thing I always hear that from your Anchor the Light meditation, Master, when you share your
Oh, thank you.
insight. Yeah, so for the next question, Master, given that some are in quarantine situation up to this date, Master, with family members who are toxic and unpleasant to be with, what are your recommendations so we may still practice loving kindness while maintaining healthy boundary with them?
Well, the way to look at it is the way Grandmaster Chokoksi taught it to us. He said, if you put your hand like this, and you move it like that, there's no friction because it's not touching. But if you go like that, there's going to be friction.
Yes.
So what happens is, let's take it from different viewpoints. Let's say you're going out on a date, you see a person once every week. So every time you're with them, you put your best foot forward, your best behavior, and so on and so on. But the more often you get together, you get more proximity, then you start noticing, hey, how come, he does not button his shirt, or he he snores or he whatever. You start noticing the weaknesses, if you will, or the tendencies you don't like. Well, look at it this way. If you're in a family and you go like this, you're 24 hours a day, you're together because of COVID, you are going to see certain things that cause friction. And the way it was taught to us is what will be the lubricant to that friction is number one is love. If you care enough for the other person, you're able to let things pass. That's part one. Part two, you also have to realize that everyone is growing. Everyone is evolving. So we have a tendency to only look at the faults of the person, because once there's friction, it's easier by default to look at the mistakes that they make, what you don't like about them, instead of, oh, because of that proximity, you're going to go, oh, by the way, it's nicer to be able to spend time with you. When I was working, I barely see you. The default usually goes to the negative because of the friction. So by the time you add these two factors together, the smart thing to do is give each other some space. When you give each other space, it doesn't mean that, oh, you have to go somewhere. A lot of times it's just like, you do your thing, I do my thing. It doesn't mean that I don't love you. It doesn't mean you don't love me. It's just we have an understanding that because of the friction, we need to give each other a time to express ourselves, a time for us to be ourselves. But there's an inherent love that binds us. But we are also cognitive, the fact that because of the situation of being always with each other, we have to take an extra step to say, look, we're together 24 hours a day. I think, a little space. I'll stay in this room. You stay in that room. You do your thing. I do my thing. I do my Zoom calls. You do your thing. And then we get together for certain times of the day. It's just a matter of using your head rather than your solar plexus, where everything is like, what's it in it for me? And another thing, if I may share,
Yes.
oftentimes, due to proximity, we have a tendency to see every fault the other person has. I mean, if you think about it, they make one mistake, you put a microscope on it. And because of that, you forget all the good things the other person has ever done to us. True? And when you have that proximity, that gets magnified even more. And so if you have an understanding, again, the key is understanding. Most people think that love is just emotion. That's not true. First of all, love is a frequency. It's an energy. And that frequency is expressed differently by different types of people. And not to mention, when there's love without intelligence, that's just pure mess. Mm-hmm. But if you have love coupled with intelligence, then you understand, okay, I love this person, but I also understand that you need space. I also understand that they have certain insecurities that gets triggered if I say these things. So if you understand those things, and they do something that's unpleasant to you, it's easier for you to forgive, easier for you to let things pass, and let there be harmony. Without that, it's like, you did this, I did that, World War III. Imagine World War III cooped up in a small place. So a lot of it has to do with understanding, forgiveness, and letting go.
That's right, Masters. Super agree with all what you just said now, that creating space also for your own self and for your partner or within the family is very, very important. You really have to grow apart and grow together. It's like saying like that, respecting each other, Master, is very, very important in a relationship. Yes, love. Pete, do you still have a question for Master Stephen?
Yeah, I would just like to really agree to Master. And it's a very good idea, good analogy of what love is, that as we get to know each other well, then we're really, getting space and then friction. And then the bind is real love. And of course, we can always follow our heart, but let's not forget our head also. Let's bring our head as we follow our heart. And yes, Master, thank you for that wonderful, idea, mind-blowing idea about love and boundaries. But this is the next question, again from our viewer, about parenting. When is tough love best applied?
Okay, first of all, it depends on what level of children you're talking about, because you would treat an infant, who's also your child, compared if you have a teenager or an adult child, or not child, but yeah, I guess they're a child. You always be your child. Yes. So I think a big part of it has to do with your perception of what parenting really is. And the way it was taught to me is, again, I'm sharing this with you because pretty much everything I know was taught to me by my teacher. So I give credit to him, and any screw ups is mine. Okay, just want to put it out there. And the way is to understand is something like this. If you look at an infant, a baby, your expectation is they're going to poop, they're going to pee, you're going to buy diapers, you're going to do everything for them. They won't let you sleep, yet you love them anyway, because that is the perception of what the child supposed to do. You cannot expect the child to get up and crawl to the toilet and do all that stuff because they're a child, they're an infant. Now, if you look at a teenager, then it's completely different. You go, okay, you should know better compared to the baby. So the expectations is different. So the way it was taught to me is something like this. You create a certain boundary, an imaginary boundary. This is the place that that child can learn, can make mistakes. You don't fight their battles, because oftentimes I notice, I'm one of them, we have a tendency to overprotect the child, and so the child doesn't learn. So you just everything, a little mistake, even if they make a little bit of improvement, oh, it's okay, you did a good job. So I don't know about in the Philippines, but in the US, one of the biggest problems here is like, you get a trophy, you get an award for just showing up in school.
Oh.
How dumb is that? I mean, oh, you have good attendance, you get a trophy. Whatever happened to reaching out for being better? So when you bring them out into the world and people are not babysitting them, people in the job market expect high standards, they don't live up to those standards, they immediately feel like, oh, they're terrible, they're bad, so they have low self-esteem because they have not been toughened up. So when you say love for a child, you have to give them a space to, okay, you're going to screw up, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to fall, but it's within that safety zone. And as they make mistakes and learn from it, you're just there to support them in the background. If they fall, you let them fall. As long as it's not falling enough that it causes trauma, severe trauma, you let them learn. Because when they learn, they go, okay, not everything's going to go my way, but this is how I bounce back. And if you build that in them, then that is what will prepare them to the world. So that is not really tough love. It's just intelligent love. Because I'll give you myself as an example. I came to the U.S. at 15. My mom and dad basically threw me out here, go survive. And it was quite interesting. So I had to learn a lot of things on my own, made a lot of stupid mistakes. And I look back, I go, those mistakes allowed me to have the toughness who I am today. Now, if the entire time everything was given to me, I'll probably be a worthless bum. And so when you say love, it's not always love, like, oh, it's okay, you trip a little bit, oh, let me fix your foot. No, come on, get over it. Get up, do your own thing. And if you have a child that's like that, better boy or girl, it gives them the inner strength to deal with life. So our two daughters, one's 28, the other one's 21. One is a store manager for, there's a big chain here called Target. I watch her, I go, wow, she at 25, she's handling over 300 employees, all of them older than she is. And basically I watch her, there are times when she comes home crying, she's upset. I just say, are you all right? Yeah. I let her be. And you know what? She learned to be tough. She learned to create boundaries. She learns to organize. That's how they grow. So love is not always giving in to their mistakes and trying to save them all the time, but you just create a space. It's just like you're on the second floor. You let the baby crawl everywhere, except where there's the stair going by. You watch them. Oh, that's the part they don't cross. But anywhere else, they hit their head somewhere. Something falls on them. As long as you don't crack their head, you let them be. And that's why you're going to have children that grow up to be self-sufficient, so you don't have to babysit them when they're 95.
That's so nice, Master Stephen, hearing this, because I am a mother of 14-year-old boy, Master, and hearing this so profound thing from you. It's really true. For myself, I would admit, as a mother, sometimes it's hard that to give that space, but I have to hold myself back and really watch him from a distance, how he really deal with things in life, and to empower him. Actually, the experience that our children experience on their own is, if when they learn the lesson, it's more empowering for them than for us parents. And thank you so much, Master, for just affirming this once again to us, and of course to all our viewers. Ang daming bumabati sa iyo, Master, from different parts of the world. It's a combination of non-pranic healers and pranic healers and AY pranic healers. They are saying, hi, Master Stephen ko, thank you for this all your insights. They're saying hi here, Master. And another question, Master, is this: how to love without attachment? What when you say this, Master, or what is this that, because in your Anchor the Light meditation, Master, you always say that as us we have to learn to detach, but love is always something. There's a relationship, there's a connection. So can you explain further here, Master, when you say love without attachment? How is that thing, Master?
Okay. In order to really explain it, I have to refer to pranic healing. Otherwise, it's impossible for people to understand.
Yes.
So your heart center is, your heart chakra is love for other people. Your solar plexus, the one below, is love for oneself. And so in a relationship, any type of relationship, not just romantic one, between you and someone you love as romantic partner, your parents, your children, whatever, it's always these two at play. So when you say attachment, detachment, it's really quite vague. So let's kind of narrow it down so people understand it. Oftentimes, when you say you love someone, you say, oh, honey, I love you. If that person doesn't say anything to you at all, most of them would say, what's your problem? Right? But what you don't realize is when you say you love someone, that's your heart chakra being stimulated. Your solar plexus, which is love for oneself, is kind of, get the idea? So what people don't realize, when you love someone, most people talk about unconditional love. They say it like it's a mantra, but very few people really understand what it is. Unconditional love means you love from your heart. Whether you get feedback or not, it doesn't matter. Whether they love you back, they say, honey, I love you, or they treat you well or not, you don't care, because you love them, period. That's true unconditional love. Okay? Now, of course, that's not realistic, because most people, loving you back nurtures your soul. Okay?
Yes.
So in a relationship, it's a matter of really understanding, okay, when I love you, it's because I love you, period, or I love you because you pay my bills, you give me good time at night, you give me this, you give me that. Is it the reason you love them? Or I love you, even if these are not in the picture, I love you, period. That's one. Number two, if you take it a little further, from here, you have love that comes from the crown. So crown is spiritual love. In other words, you see couples that are in their 80s, 90s, they just love each other, period. It's not like, oh, you have too many wrinkles, I don't love you anymore. Or you were not nice to me, you're nice to me. It's like, I love you, period. Nothing else matters. And so that type of love is very rare. And it only comes if that person or both people have some level of spiritual inclination. Because if they have spiritual inclination, they will look at the other person and say, I love you, but I'm not loving your body. I'm loving you, the spiritual self, the soul that is using the body right now. So if that love goes at that level, then everything else is easier to say, oh, okay, well, you might not be as handsome or pretty. You might not be as smart. Those are now external factors wrapping around the soul, because you love the soul, period. Everything else you say, well, things happen, but as long as we're together. So it depends on what type of love you're talking about. Now, when you talk about attachment, oftentimes it's not really attachment to the person, it's attachment to expectations. So since we're a couple, since you're my mom, since you're my child, whatever, we have certain expectations that if I love you, you have to do this back to me. Make sense? So if you have those attachments and those attachments are not met, guaranteed misery. And most people create their own misery because they have these expectations. If you remove those expectations, you say, okay, I love this person. This is my mom. Whether she treats me all right, she doesn't treat me not right, not well. In the big picture, whether I like it or not, if not for her, I'm not going to physically be here. So there's an intrinsic love inside. And from there, you ask yourself, okay, what are the boundaries I have to create in such a way that even though she's not treating me right, I still love her unconditionally, but there's a point that I'm not going to cross where it's done in an unhealthy way for my self-esteem. So a lot of these have to be looked at in the big picture. Now, let's take it one step further as far as attachment is concerned. In the Buddhist tradition, you You always hear always the story. The Buddha said the cause of all suffering is attachment, and of course, Master Choa being Master Choa will say, okay, let's talk about the inner teachings. The inner teachings is as simple as this: if I have this water, okay, I attach to it, enjoy it, but when I'm done, I don't hold on to it. I let it go. I need it again, I take it again. So if you're in a relationship, you say, okay, this relationship is healthy for me. When I'm in that relationship, I'm attached to it. I'm going to enjoy it to the fullest. But if it's not serving me anymore or it's not serving me better, I have the ability to detach. And then as needed, I attach again. So a lot of it has to do with your ability to understand and be able to regulate your body, your emotions, and your thoughts. And so I always say, you cannot really separate the spiritual self from your everyday life, because once you understand who you really are, your spiritual self, and you understand the lessons you already learned and the lessons you have not yet learned, manifesting as your strengths and weaknesses, then you get to know, okay, I'm good at this, I'm not good at this. So when you're in any relationship, you would not be having this delusion of having low self-esteem, like, oh, they're always demeaning me and so on and so on. But in reality, it's because you have certain insecurities that got triggered. You say, okay, I'm a person who's, I'll just make something up. Let's say I'm the kind of person who is not very expressive with my love. So the fact that they treated me like they're not very loving and all that, it's not because they're bad, it's because I did not express it properly. So instead of blaming them, I'll say, okay, it's something I need to work on to improve the relationship. Otherwise, the attachment becomes they have to do this to me, not realizing I have to work on myself first. Am I making sense to you guys, or is this too much information?
Yes,
Yes.
Master. Actually, yes, that's what I pick up from this, Master, is really the maturity of your essence to be able to do this. And it's so good as pranic healers, and with all the things that you're helping us to realize that the constant anchor, the light meditation, actually, Master, really is helping a lot of people, because this is exactly what you're telling, that we are able to all of do this in our everyday life, to share love, to give love, but at the same time to be able to attach and become an observer of all of this happening around us. So we're really getting it, Master, and I'm very grateful. We're very grateful because a lot of our viewers, also the non-pranic healers, is saying here that thank you very much for this insightful information, a very grounded explanation that you just said, Master Stephen Ko.
Oh.
These are the non-pranic healers, Master.
Thank you.
So,
Well,
thank
you see,
very much, Master.
one of the things, if I may
Yes,
just
go ahead.
add, is I remember many years ago, 20-something years ago, when Master Cho was teaching in the class, he said, oftentimes, we look at the faults of someone and we don't look at the good qualities they have. So he was teaching this relationship class many years ago, and I distinctly remember, when was the last time, not verbally, but just in your mind, when was the last time you praised the other person for anything good that they did? It could be, hey, you're good in art. Oh, you're good at this. Those little sayings, those little attempts on your part to show love is like watering a plant. Instead, most people don't realize that. I know this is going to sound really dumb, but
Go
it's
ahead,
direct to the
Master.
point. Direct to the point.
Yes.
There's certain people that think that you keep criticizing your partner or your mom, your dad, your children. You keep saying all these bad things. You're planting all these negative seeds and expect them to suddenly become a saint. It's just like you keep planting orange seeds all day long and you're waiting for an apple to show up. It doesn't make any sense. But if you keep planting loving energy, you keep saying, even though they don't respond, you say, now and then you say, hey, by the way, that dress looks good on you. Oh, you did a good job with that exam. All these little things that uplift them, you're planting good seeds. Law of karma. You keep planting good seeds. The biggest complaint that people hear that is, I've been doing that for so long. How come it has not worked yet? Hello, when you plant an apple seed, you don't expect an apple tomorrow. It takes time, this lag time. And it shows your true character when you don't give in to something that's easy, which is to criticize. And another thing to remember is something like this, and that's probably one of the biggest lessons Master Cho taught us, is something like this. a lot of the people that you're dealing with, unless they're serious on the spiritual path, they're spiritual babies in adult bodies. So your expectation, if you think about it, you're the one who's meditating, you're the one who's reading books, you're trying to get on these different programs to better yourself. They're not. So how could you expect them to act like you? Your standard is, I'll just say the standard is PhD, and they're still in kindergarten, and you expect them to act like you. Try turning the tables around. How would you feel if somebody treated you that way? You're going to go, of course, that wouldn't be fair. That's what we're doing. And so without self-examination, we have a tendency to keep blaming other people for our unhappiness, when in reality, our happiness does not depend on anyone else but ourselves.
Yes.
Yes. That's so
Wow.
powerful. Yeah, it's within us. We can all find
Correct.
what the things that we need in our life. I mean, to survive in this lifetime, it's all within us. We can all find that. Yes, Pink. Any more question for Master?
Yes, I would just like also to, what I pick up from Master's answer about parenting, about attachment. And I'm not yet a parent, but this is really something that I would apply in the future when I already have my kids, and also to the people around me. Like Master, you told us that everyone is also like a baby. They are spiritual babies in an adult body. So I can like, you know, I can just not expect from them to be perfect, but expect to, with some love, with some intelligence, um, I would always be aware and mindful of myself, that to just let go and just give them time to grow. And also there's no such thing as tough love, just intelligent love, so that we let people grow in their own pace and in their own way. And also with attachment, it's all about expectations. It's not really about attachment, you're really attached to that person, but really we're so attached to expecting that person to do the things for us that will make us happy. And yeah, that's really a very good idea about love, so that we can love easily, so we cannot feel really brokenhearted at all when we love. And for the last question, I guess, Master, uh, in these digital times, again, this is from our viewers, when everything seems to be instant, how can we empower the youth to learn how to wait for their true love or God's best?
Master.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay. Wow. Okay. I remember you sent me that question. I was looking at it, go, how in the world am I going to answer this? Okay. This is just my opinion. I could be completely wrong. If somebody were to ask me that question and ask for my advice, I would say, first and foremost, write out your standards. What are your standards you're looking for? Because if you don't know what you're looking for, it's like you'll just fall for anything. Because when the person's desperate for love, then everything will do. And in the end, they will notice that a bad relationship is worse than no relationship. Okay? So in my humble opinion, again, I could be wrong. You first sit down. What are the things I'm looking for? Do I want them to be a spiritual person? Do I want them to be intelligent? Do I want them this? Do I want that? Do I want them to be Mr. Universe and Miss Universe? Or just the inside beauty is more important? I mean, you have to write it down and look at your standards and then collect and select. That's what my mom said. I can't believe my mom told my daughters, collect and select. I go, Mom, what the heck are you doing? But in other words, you have your standards and you just kind of,
Look around. You cannot
But
have
seriously.
both, Master. If you can have the
But
Miss
seriously.
Universe and good inside.
I know. But seriously, without setting your own standards, that's the number one reason people will have problems. Because if you're willing to just take anything and everything, if it just so happens that that person does not have all your qualifications, the honeymoon period can only last so long. But if they have the majority of what you want, then there's a high probability it'll work out. Now, I know some of you guys are saying, well, then you're using your mind too much. It should be based on your heart. You're talking to an engineer. So the way I look at it is, if the components are not there, your intention alone will not make the machine run.
That's right, Master. So
Correct.
it's very, very important, Master. After all, this is your life. So you have to set a standard of what you're really looking for. And if by all means, write it down. So there will be some flexibility over the things, right, Master? But
Of course.
how, yes. So, but it's important that we are very clear to ourselves what what we really looking for, so that it's not like when we see something, we just grab in there.
Just dive into that.
Yeah.
Because it's now it's choosing out of desperation, and that's
Yeah.
never a good thing. You know, it'll be almost like, I mean, this sounds bad. It's almost like impulse buying.
Yes, Master. So we don't want that impulse buying. It's
Impulse
also
buying
a
on a
partner
sale.
in life. Master, in relation to this question, because I'm seeing some question here in our in my phone now from the viewers. It's a good thing to connect because you talk about the standard, or give yourself a standard. But how about for self-love, Master? You know, we talk about this whole thing, love for others, but how can we really demonstrate and really say, and we affirm or feel that we are doing a self-love for ourselves? When do we say, when we take boundaries, you know, because people also have misconception about this whole thing, boundaries. When we talk about boundaries, they think this is selfish thing about being, setting a boundary for yourself and then being indifferent from others. So can you shed a light over this whole thing, Master Stephen?
Okay, this is just my opinion. Okay,
Master.
you see, if you talk about loving yourself, you ask any person, you say, when you say you want to love yourself, that means you want to have a life that has minimal pain and suffering. I, I think everybody would agree, right? So, in my perspective, again, I could be wrong. I just want to put it out there. You know, I don't know everything. In my perspective, if there is no spiritual component in your life, any happiness that you have is going to be temporary. Because if you don't know that everything that you're going through in life is, you are a spiritual being having this journey of learning lessons, if you're not able to detach yourself temporarily from all the circumstances, then the circumstances will determine whether you're happy or not. And so when circumstances take over your life, you know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. I mean, as the Buddha said, everything is subject to change. Then your life's going to be going up and down. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you suffer. But if you go back to who you really are, you're the spiritual self through meditation, spiritual practice, religion, whatever you want to do. If you're in that state and you look at it like, okay, I'm going through this journey, this relationship, there are certain things I need to improve. Certain things happen that I didn't like, but whether I suffer or not, is my response to it. If you put it all together and then you're able to respond in a way that you're always in control of your thoughts and emotions, how you respond to life, that's, in my opinion, is one of the highest forms of true self-love, because you are giving yourself the opportunity to make right choices. And then to take it even further, you cannot really love yourself only, because whether you like it or not, we're interconnected with the universe. So if you look at people who are miserable, they're the kind of people only love three people: me, myself, and I. If you want to see people who are truly happy, those are the people who have a reason to live. They love their children, they love people, whoever they are. They love people who are hungry, who are homeless. In other words, there's always a reason for them to love beyond themselves. So literally, as you love other people, in the big picture, you're loving yourself, because we're all interconnected. I hope I didn't lose you on that one.
No, Master, we're so connected.
Yes,
We,
Master.
yeah,
You're
so
picking
we
it
really
up.
we got it, Master, that that's a highest form of actually loving oneself, is realizing that you are full in control of your life. You can make a decision on all levels of your life, but at the same time, practicing this one, self-love, is also sharing it to all the people around us, and that is the beauty of being in love, and love forever. Love is very universal. It can be expressed in many different levels. And
Yes.
thank you so much for that, Master. As if that the time is not running, because everything that you shared with us this morning, Master, everything makes sense to everyone. And I am getting a lot of comments here right now, Master, saying from Andre, saying, Master, Andre is actually our Hatha Yogi practitioners, and he's saying that thank you, Master Stephen, for bringing me to pranic healing. Yes, he's from Philippines,
Okay.
Master. I
Oh,
know him. He would just watch you in YouTube, and that's the time he decided that I will take pranic healing, and then from then on he um, take another step up to the Arhatic Yogi practitioners now.
Yeah.
So from your
oh,
YouTube, Master.
wonderful.
Yes, so you're really an inspiration. And from Zarina Mariari, Master, he's actually one of the certified trainer of pranic healing, Master. She's actually the one who gave this title for you. That's
Oh,
right.
great. Thanks.
She's saying, thank you very much for this, Master. Everyone, a lot. And hello, Master Stephen.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. And from all the non-pranic healers here in our viewers, Master, thank you very much. And hope to see Master Stephen again in the Naturopaths in Manila, because you're really inspiring us. Your presence is such a healing for them, Master. So
Thank you.
we're
Thank you.
getting a lot of feedback, Master. This alone is very helpful, Master. So thank you very much. And we hope to see you in person, Master. Every year, I believe you're always coming here to Manila to conduct the higher courses of Master Chowa. But right now, it's not possible. But again, you make sure that we set a routine by putting this Anchor the Light meditation. Since last year, Master, you always say that you thought this is
Yeah.
going to be for 3 weeks. Then after this date, we're still doing it. Thank you so much, Master. I, for myself, benefiting from this program literally, and learning and establishing a routine, a discipline, Master. So from the bottom of my heart, Master, I am very, very grateful to be connected to you and to all the programs that you're doing. It's helping my life tremendous in a very beautiful and positive way, Master Stephen.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, seriously, it was just, I thought it was just going to be 3 weeks because people are stuck at home. I go, okay, let's do meditation. And then before it went 3 weeks, became 1 month, 2 months, and now it's a year later. We're still doing
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
But I'm very grateful because people have responded very well. And,
Mhm.
one of my main goals in life is to have Master Choice teachings go to the entire world. And so if it can enlighten one person, it can bring one person to Master Choice teachings to make their life better. I'm a happy dude. So
Yes, Master. Definitely.
Yes.
I believe, Master, for next month, you're also going to facilitate about 40,000 participants to Tony Robbins' program, the UPW. Is that
yeah,
so,
actually, it's
Master?
in a week and a half.
Wow.
They're expecting
Mhm.
at least 40,000.
Wow.
Last month was, geez, almost a million people. 836,000 people did
Amazing.
meditation to the heart.
Wow.
Yes.
So I'm very grateful that, I'm sure in the energy world, in the inner world, a lot of things have changed. And with that many people meditating, uh, I mean, one of the greatest joys I have is, when you have that many people getting a taste of the spiritual teachings,
Mhm.
and the response we always have is like, oh, I've never meditated in my life, but that 10-minute meditation, 15-minute meditation gave me inner peace. And I'm going, thank you.
Yes.
It's one of the most gratifying things in my life. Thank you.
Yes. Master, one of the viewers again from Pranic Healings, Patrick, is saying hi also. He's also an AY practitioner. He's really following you also, Master. And he's also actually inspired to do all your workout.
No,
Yeah. And then they are really integrating all this strength now, Master, to just like you, that to prepare the physical
Yes,
body.
Master, you're so balanced. And I also really appreciate and I'm so inspired with your workouts, Master, that it's always a balance of a soul workout and also a physical workout. And we have to really, as we energize or as we strengthen our soul, we also have to strengthen the vehicle, that's the body, so that we can do more work, we can do more service, we can do lots of, a balance of everything. So, Master, thank you so much for posting this, for really doing the Anchor the Light meditation, morning, evening. And I am learning every day, twice a day. And would like to personally thank you for doing this for the public also, like for today, your last meditation was about, it's all, don't, don't complain about the road, wear a shoes. And it was a very it's really a good idea, a good analogy about life, that we don't have to, flatten or make all the roads in the world nice, but let's just wear shoes, so that even your most favorite branded shoes, so that it will be
Yeah.
a better road and a beautiful
Well,
road
that's from
to.
Master Joe. That's not my quote. I learned it from him. I think it's in the Miracles to Pranic Healing book.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's from him. I just thought, well,
It's
it'd be
from
a good
Master.
lesson, because
Very
people
good.
have a tendency, especially looking at the pandemic, looking at so many things happening in life, and many people actually define who they are based on the circumstances. When in reality, it should be the other way around. You should know who you are, and then you make the choices and decide what your life's going to be. And most people use external circumstances to define them, when in reality, if you know who you are, then you have the strength and the ability
Mhm.
to live the life that you want.
Wow, Master,
Wow.
thank you. Thank you very much again for this insightful information that you've given to every one of us, Master. I know right after this, Master, you're going to turn to your Anchor Delight meditation, and we're going to follow you there,
Yes,
Master.
we're gonna follow you, Master.
but,
Yeah, I'm just going to change to a t-shirt and then do the meditation.
but
Because I'm
Master,
going to dress up for you guys, So, all right.
Wow, thank you, Master.
thank you.
Yeah,
So
I feel too
honored.
formal, I'm more comfortable with a t-shirt, with shorts that most people cannot see anyway. Wear Crocs, all these things up here, so we're good.
Master, again, we are very, very grateful for this, for you saying big yes to us, to all the viewers of Naturopaths in Manila. And I've said, and I will say again and again that when these things settle already, Master, hopefully when you come here to Manila, you're going to be guesting in our program, physical already. And then
Yeah.
we can really be immersed with your super energized
Oh, okay.
presence. The live
Yeah,
energized, Master.
next time, give me an easier topic. So
See,
when you gave me a topic, I'm going, what? Love? That's not my specialization. So I had to kind of think about it to see how to make it work. So thank you.
But it
Master,
looks so easy for you, Master.
yeah, and you did it so well. We have
Oh,
a lot
really?
of,
Huh.
yes, you did
Yes,
I
so
was
well.
like,
It's so natural in you, Master.
not my specialization. But anyway, I'm glad it worked out.
Well, Master, you did a great
Thank
job
you.
here, Master.
Yes.
So again, Master, we're wrapping up now. We're ending our
Thank
program.
you.
But thank you very, very much, Master Stephen Ko. And definitely, we will have you back here in the Naturopaths in Manila. And all our viewers saying thank you. And and ang dami nagpapahabol, Master, from Donna Francisco saying thank you, Master Stephen, from Zarina Malyari also again. Thank you, Master, for being an inspiration to spread the work of Grandmaster Chowa Koksui, and then Christine Cabangon saying thank you. They are all pranic healers, and for the non-pranic healers also
Yes,
saying,
even my friends are
please come
watching.
back, Master Stephen. Would like to know more from you. Thank you for this
Okay.
sharing.
Well, I'll do
Master,
my best.
Nice.
you're a
Thank you,
rock
Pink. Thank
star.
you, Judith, for having me. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you so much,
Thank you.
Master.
So
All right.
to all our viewers, thank you very much. And now we're ending our program. And again, we're so grateful that Master Stephen Ko really shared so much information about strength in love and his expertise now. He's so good about it.
Love.
Yeah, right.
Yes, heart,
Yes.
heart.
Okay. Okay. All right. Whew.
See
That's a lot of work.
Yes, Master. So definitely you will be back here in our
Thank you.
program with a more loving discussion with Master Stephen
Okay.
Ko. Master Stephen would always say, seekers are achievers. So yes, we are all
Yes.
achievers, Master, and live energized always. Master Stephen,
All right.
thank you very much.
Sounds good.
Yes, Pink.
Take care, Judith.
Yeah.
Thank you, Pink. Thank you so much. All
Thank
right.
you so much, Master. And to
Thank
all
you.
of our viewers, see you again for the next amazing and very, very well healthy topics for you guys. And yeah, let's all end it here. Lovely and super energized. Super energized. Super energized. All right.
Okay, have a nice day,
Okay.
everyone.
Okay. Bye. Take care.
God bless.